Okay, I'm going to do this here video. Okay, I haven't done nothing in a long time, and don't get me wrong, I'm not coming back. There isn't going to be regular content for me anymore. They just don't happen that way anymore. Okay, but this particular one, I got some things I want to say. Okay, so don't get me wrong, because I'm not coming back. So feel lucky you're even seeing this one. But at the same time, there's things I want to say here, okay? There is a topic, one of the things I'm a little bit forward in the video from where I'm going to start it at. Before that, there was a gal up here that said, we live in a democracy, okay? And you hear the court say it, you hear the TV say it, you hear them say it in the movies, that we live in a democracy, we live in a democracy. And I don't get into the theater, the names they gave you, because it was all about control. But, for years when I grew up, they said to pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. And the last time I looked, it was into a republic, not a democracy. And you'll get people who try to argue with you and tell you democracy and republic are one and the same. But if they ever went and looked it up and read the entire thing on democracy and the entire thing on republic, they would clearly see that they were, the blanket was thrown over their face, that they're lying. See, democracy is the roadmap to communism. And all 10 planks of communism have already been implemented into the United States. No accident. That's why everybody's saying democracy. But nobody's using their brains. They said to pledge allegiance to the flag, okay, where it was into a republic. So you might as well just change the pledge of allegiance into communism, into a democracy, because you didn't pay attention to what was going on right in your face. But anyhow, that's sort of off topic, but them words were said earlier in this video. I'm going to start it right here, and I got some things to say, okay, about what's being said right here. So let's go forward here.
For a man who gets easily triggered, defensive, or reactive, this one's for you. This is why women stop respecting you and you don't even realize that it's happening. Emotion isn't feminine, reaction is. And when a man reacts emotionally, he loses that masculine frame. So let me get something clear. Emotions are human, they're in all of us, but reaction is not leadership. There's a big difference between feeling and losing control. The feminine processes emotion outward through expression, reaction, and release. The masculine is designed to control that emotion, to regulate it, to decide before acting. So when a man becomes reactive, defensive, impulsive, or emotionally volatile, that tells you one thing. He is dysregulated. Most men aren't reacting because they're too emotional. They're reacting because they lack structure and discipline. No discipline at all. No physical outlet. No purpose, and no internal order. A man without structure has no container for stress. So the pressure leaks out as anger, sarcasm, passive aggression, shutting down, or emotional outbursts. That is not strength. That is overflow. Here's why it happens though. When a man doesn't lead his own life, he can't lead his emotions, let alone a woman. He avoids responsibility. His nervous system stays in fight or flight. When he has no direction, everything feels like a threat. So he reacts. Strong men don't react. They respond. They pause, they assess the situation, then they choose to respond calmly because masculinity is not loud, it is stable. And this is the part that most men miss. A woman doesn't lose respect because a man feels something. She loses respect because she can't trust his own regulation. A woman naturally softens when she feels contained. She hardens when she has to manage a man's emotions. That's why emotional reactivity in men kill attraction, not vulnerability and not honesty, but lack of regulation. Masculinity isn't the absence of emotion. It is mastery over it.
Okay. This is so crucial because what she said right there sounds good, doesn't it? So many of you will probably agree with her without knowing what she really said, without understanding what she really said. Okay, let's start at the very beginning of this thing. okay, when it comes to feelings, emotion, which comes from a feeling. Okay? Let's look at what she said about men's feelings. Let's look at women's feelings. Now let's thinking about the feelings, the emotion from a feeling. Information taken in becomes perception, which becomes your belief, which becomes your feeling, which becomes your emotion. What she's really saying, without saying it in your face, is that, see, she told you straight up both men and women have feelings and emotions. What she didn't tell you and won't tell you, because she probably don't even understand it herself, she thinks she's being smart here. What she's doing is she's parroting, she's repeating the official social engineering that led to where we're at right now with people's behaviors. And how can I say that? Because it's actually pretty simple and it's pretty in your face. As a human being, whether you're a man or a woman, where did your roles in life come from? Another human being telling you what your roles are. We understand that there's men, we understand there's women, we understand women give birth. Okay, this has nothing to do with years and years back when women stayed at home and the man went out and earned the money and took care of the household. And even then, women were out there working in the field and helping to grow the food. There's so much they don't tell you, and I never will, because it's about programming the biological computer, your brain. Why do we do that? So we can get behaviors where we want them. So what we have here is what she's really telling the men is the reaction. When the man's feelings, he comes with emotion, and he's angry, and he's blah, blah, blah. It's a reaction to a feeling. What she's telling you as a man, you were to suppress that down. That control is to suppress your feelings. Now let's look at the women. What are they told? Well, women are emotional. Okay, where did emotions come from? Feelings. Where do emotions in men come from? Feelings. But what do we tell the women? Well, we tell everybody that women are emotional and men ain't. That's a lie. That's for an agenda. So we give women permission to act out on their emotions. We shame men. We put men down. We gaslight them. We shame them. We tell them they're not a man if they act on emotions from feelings. Do you follow what I'm telling you? If somebody hurts you, abuses you verbally as a child even, or even as an adult, and continues to abuse you and abuse you and abuse you, your feelings will lead to the emotion that comes with that feeling, but as a man, you're to suppress that. You're to suppress it and just take it. Just bend over and keep taking it over and over and over again. If you act out, we're going to shame you. We're going to gaslight you. We're going to tell you you're out of control. We're going to tell you that's not being a man. That's right. We're going to tell you what it is to be a man. And we're going to tell you women what it is to be a woman. What's that about? That's about control. It's about divide and conquer. Okay? That's what it's really about. You know, when I heard this, I knew right away what she was saying, and I understood it so clearly. But unfortunately, she don't even know what she's saying here. And if she does, she's purposely keeping it under the table. So the reality is what she really told you men is to be a man, you have to suppress your feelings down. Control your emotions. Doesn't matter what we do to you, you control it. You don't act out on it. Suppress it down. Don't act out on that feeling that comes with that emotion that came from that feeling. If somebody's abusing you, bend over and take it. Because that's what a man does. Because he's strong, he's durable. You can stick him with a knife 100 times. Don't worry, it won't hurt him. He's only just a guy. He's not even a human. I know I'm being sarcastic right there, but there you are. That's really in a nutshell what she's telling you. She's telling the men to shut their mouth and keep their feelings to themselves and suppress them down. That goes right along with what you've witnessed and seen. Pay attention to female behavior. Well, let's see, they're emotional. They're emotional. Remember that? Y'all remember that? Women are emotional and men ain't? But see, if men weren't emotional and women are, then she couldn't have gave birth to you. So when she had a baby boy, would she have sex with a gorilla? Maybe she had sex with an alien like the Predator from outer space. Or a swamp beast. But she couldn't have had sex with another human because she gave birth to a boy. Now I know that's sarcastic as hell, but the reality is garbage in, garbage out. The behavior comes from, just as I told you, information taken in. What you believe becomes a belief, that becomes a feeling, that becomes an emotion, because the feelings and emotions are one and the same, hooked together. But you as the man are being told that you have to control them. You have to suppress them down. How long can you bottle it up? Because if you speak about it, we're going to gaslight you. We're going to shame you. We're going to tell you you're not being a man because, see, we decided for you long ago, some other clown decided for you what a man's roles are in life and how he's supposed to act, and what a woman's roles in life and how she's supposed to act. Of course, it was always meant for divide and conquer. If you go back far enough in time to the Western days, you find out that the women didn't have the pick. The men did. But since the real Western days, they flipped the roles. That's because it's always been controlled by other humans, shaping societies, shaping people's beliefs and behaviors. The social engineering 101 right in your face. So this is the reason I'm doing this recording. Because this is something that needs to be pointed out to you. What she really told you is to be a man is to suppress your feelings down. To control. Okay? To not become angry over something that you should be angry for. Okay? But on the other hand, when it's the opposite gender, well, they're emotional, and she's just acting out of them emotions from her feelings, and she was hurt, and she has the right to be angry, and she has the right to act out. But when it's him, he don't have a right to be angry. He don't have a right to act out. He has to suppress it down. And he has to be calm, cool, and collect. Okay? And he has to keep his feelings to himself. There was another video today from the Hope Porn that came out from our bald-headed guy over there. Men need to be heard. Okay? Where he talked about a similar topic to this. What a quinky thing that was, huh? And he told guys, okay, it's the same topic. Okay? And he told men that women, they can tell you how they feel and they can rant and they can blah, blah, blah about it, and that's normal. But when a man tells a woman how he feels, it's a turnoff to her. And that us men need to understand that. It's a mistake that we make. What did he really say? He said the same thing she did. Suppress your feelings down. Don't act on them. That's really what he said. And what did she do today? The same thing. And these are both new videos, but see, what did I say? This is establishment. These people doing these videos that you're seeing, they're working for the establishment. They're here for money in their pockets. They're given the scripts that they're told to give. They stepped into the manosphere and took over when I walked away, when Steve walked away. And now they're controlling the narrative. That's right. That's exactly what's going on. Now they're controlling the narrative. Let's go forward a little bit because there's not a lot more I got to say. This is my main part. But I'm going to play a little bit of this because there's something else I want you to hear.
Masculinity is not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of it. So true. Thank you for this snippet of wisdom.
Have you guys...
See, she told her thank you. And called that wisdom. Well, called that something good. And it wasn't. Because most of you don't understand what was really said right there.
I've seen the TikTok of the woman whose husband canceled their honeymoon after one day because he found out that she sent a goodbye text to her ex on the morning of their wedding. Of course, her new husband would have a problem with this, but she just doesn't get it. She actually justified it by saying that she needed to say goodbye to have closure. But why did you wait for the day of your wedding? Look, for anyone in a relationship, let alone engaged, your partner never wants to feel like he's second choice. As if you're with him because your first choice didn't want it, or it's just that your first choice didn't want to shape up and be the man that you wanted him to be. And the whole closure thing is just a silly excuse because you can get closure without reaching out to someone. You can write a goodbye on a piece of paper and then burn it, because by reaching out instead, you're probably actually giving him one more chance to change your mind. Something just tells me in every one of these situations that the man on the other end receiving that is saying, heck no, good riddance.
Giving the other dude one last chance is exactly what she was doing.
This is an appreciation vote. Not for that girl. No, she is the absolute worst. She is the epitome of what's wrong with this generation of TikTokers and content creators that will do anything just to get some likes and attention. No, this is an appreciation post for that man, because the look he gives is exactly how all of us feel when we see this nonsense. She could have filmed this anywhere in the world, and she decided to do it on a busy escalator in front of people. So to you, sir, respect. You look how all of us feel. So thank you. You are an absolute legend.
That man is the representation of what the rest of us feel like when we come across these idiots.
Ladies, be honest with yourselves. You're single out there. You're not dressing for yourself. You want attention from men. You want to get picked. You want to get chosen. You want to get the attention that night. You want to get the drink spot for you. You want all of that. Or why else would you be doing it? So this idea that women don't want to be lusted after is such garbage. Women all...
Now I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because I don't want to play a lot of this. A lot of this is just, what can I say? I had the parts I definitely wanted to play. Let me see what we got going here.
95, but he barely making. He make $1,000 a week. That's nothing.
$1,000 a week is a lot of money.
I now understand why this new generation does not want to date at all. Come here, because it seems incredibly tiring, right? There's so much pressure involved. Relationships nowadays seem more transactional than they do actually romantic, right? Because $1,000 a week is actually a good amount of money. That's $4,000 a month. And for one person, that's not bad at all. Now, to sustain two people's way of living off of that, that won't work, but that shouldn't be the case in the first place, right? When it comes to relationships, you should want to date somebody that makes you feel loved, respected, and feel safe and protected, and you can build a future with, right? You should want to spend money on your partner because you want to, not because it's obligatory, because it isn't, right? In this economy, if you're looking for somebody to just pay for everything, you're not looking for a partner, you're looking for a caretaker. And I'm pretty sure if you tell anybody, hey, do you want to be in a relationship where you just pay for everything? I don't think they want to do that.
She says $1,000 a week is nothing because she was already calculating how much she could squeeze out of him through divorce and child support.
So why is it that it feels like men again
giving up on dating. On a daily basis, I have so many women say,
playing video games with friends or fighting for democracy. You're welcome.
There you are, fighting for democracy. I'm not fighting for communism.
Unfortunately, they are working overtime instead of going out and dating because they feel they will never be attractive enough or wealthy enough for a girl ever again. They would rather check their weather app than chat with another person on Hinge. If they're not at work, they're usually at home, the gym, playing video games with friends, or fighting for democracy. You're welcome.
If you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you.
You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
The girl at the end is right. You're going to need a lot more than $50,000 to feed that hungry beast.
Men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women, that it's better to be single, guys. And they're like almost proud.
Let me clear something up for those that believe this. If a tall guy pursues...
You see, when I look at the behaviors, and that's something I focused on for a long time when I was making videos, was behaviors and where the behaviors come from, why people are acting the way they acted. When I first come online, that's what brought me online. Okay? And I've looked into this stuff very deep for a lot of years. Okay, and there's not a lot I can say other than what you're witnessing is many years of social engineering into the behaviors. And what you're seeing right there was social engineering 101 right in your face. She had literally said stuff and said it in such a fashion that it sounded good to the average person. But if you wasn't thinking deep enough, you didn't realize what you said. That's why I pointed it out. It's for men to suppress their feelings down, to control them. Well, what's wrong with a woman controlling her feelings, huh? Her emotions. Well, because we said it's okay for her to act out, just not you. See? Just not you, the man. She can act hers out, but then we encourage her to act hers out. And where does it lead to? It leads to mayhem, chaos, and drama. Okay? No understanding of two people are human beings. The woman and the man are both human beings. The woman and man need each other. Friendship is the foundation. But now it's a friend zone, a rejection line. Okay? Good communication and trust is the foundation. But even that's been destroyed, hasn't it? See, all the foundations have been completely destroyed. Then you wonder why it's the way it is, huh? We're going to go forward a little more because I'm not going to play a lot more.
Pay attention. A man calling you baby means nothing. A man moving in your house means nothing. A man calling you his woman means nothing. A man giving you a baby means nothing. I'm about to hurt some feelings with this next one. A man marrying you means nothing. You know what means something? A man changing himself, his lifestyle, and his ways to keep you. That's what means something.
Hold on. See, this is once again, what did you see right there? The man changing himself. What about her? See, it's all about changing yourself to conform to her, to conform to her. That will still become bored of you and throw you away. That will still give you chaos and drama because she likes chaos and drama. You will still be the villain. So you see what this clown just said? That's because he's following a script. Can't you tell these people are sitting in a damn studio? You pay attention close enough, you see clearly that they're sitting in a studio. Okay? I'll give you more examples of they're in a studio.
A man with morals and honesty means everything.
What I can appreciate about Passport Bros is I think it's an effective...
There you go. You see the background? See the mic? Pay attention. They're sitting around a table. They all have good mics up to their mouths. It's because they're in a studio.
Flag being raised for Western women as well. I'm not necessarily saying that...
There you go. What are you seeing? So what are you seeing? And paper cups. They're in a studio.
That they're going to find someone. I'm not saying that they're not going to get screwed over. I'm not even necessarily saying that I would encourage.
They're not just in a studio having a talk. They're following a script. That's what people don't understand.
A quick question. Where are we meeting the men that actually want to date and be in a relationship? Because it's not the dating apps. It's not. It's not the coffee shops. I've been trying that. I've been trying that for a while now. Definitely not the bars. Not at my age, because they're all like 21, 22, so they definitely don't want to be in a relationship, and I definitely do not want to be a cougar. Nothing wrong with that, just not my type. I, again, tend to go about 8 to 10 years older than me. I found out even those don't want to date for a relationship.
Where us good men are? At home, working, minding our own fucking business. The reality is, some of us are either in relationships, happily, by the way, or just doing our own thing, which a vast majority of us are. We're just doing our own thing. We don't want to date y'all. Some of y'all, if not most of you, fucking annoying.
The reality is that there are men out there by the millions, but she's turning them all down. The ones that she is chasing don't want to settle down with her because
that part would be true. In 2.5 seconds, she's already rejected you. And it happens over and over and over and over because she's got this fantasy in the back of her head that came from her television set and her friends and so on to what she wants. Okay, and of course, most of the time, her expectations are so high that person don't exist. Matter of fact, if she didn't know she was a girl and she looked in the mirror, she saw a guy who was actually herself, she'd reject her own self in 2.5 seconds. She wouldn't even be good enough for her own self.
she's aiming too high.
Instead of blaming women for the male loneliness epidemic, why don't men grow up? It's not about your wallet or your looks or your height. I've seen women date broke.
Oh, it's not about your height. I've seen so many women. It's got to be 6 foot plus. Blah, blah, blah. Sarah's got to be this. And of course, nothing's 100% across the board. But see, she's saying the opposite of what everybody's seeing happen and everybody knows. Why do we know it? Because it's happened so often by so many women. Nothing's 100%. That don't apply to every single woman. Just like behaviors of men don't apply to every single man. But a good majority because of social engineering.
Goblins. I see it every day. You listen to one podcast, now you think you're high value? You take dating advice from men on the internet with microphones? Gay. Beta behavior. If you want dating advice on how to date a woman, try asking a woman, a real life woman, someone you know, in person. You don't know any women in person? I think we found the problem. Stop asking women to lower their standards. Men don't want to date somebody who doesn't wash their underwear or know how to ask questions. Why should we expect women to?
There is no men loneliness epidemic.
There you go, and that's where I end it. Because that's a complete lie. It's the opposite of the truth. The male loneliness epidemic was here long before this clown came along. And he don't want you to acknowledge there's a male loneliness epidemic. We're going to flip it now onto it's a woman loneliness epidemic. I mean, she has to always be the victim. And you as the man always have to be the perp. So remember, guys, suppress your feelings down. I've told you really well right here to suppress your feelings down. And so did our bald man. Men need to be heard. He told you that's one of the mistakes that men make. That's right. Is the woman can rant about her feelings to you all she wants. But you better not say your feelings to her. Because that's not acceptable. Why? Because you have to suppress your feelings down. See the message they're telling you? You suppress your feelings, that way you don't become emotional about your feelings and don't act out on your feelings. So if the woman does, just not you. You have to be a man. And a man knows to keep his mouth shut and behave as he's told to behave. Social engineering 101 right in your face. With that, I'm out of here.